So I am back with another review of Ladies Who List Atlanta. This is going to be episode 4. So let's get into it. So the episode opens up with Kiana and Robin sitting down to finally discuss this whole contract situation. We've seen over the last 3 episodes starting out in this season that Kiana has been talking about these contracts that she was trying to have transferred over to have somebody hold them. And she reached out to Robin to have her hold these contracts, and Robin charged her, she says, $500 a piece. Well, in this sit down between the two ladies where they actually are finally hashing this out, Robin clarifies that she didn't charge her $500 a piece, that she charged her a $500 flat fee. It's very interesting watching this, sort of go down between them, because it almost looks like it was a situation of miscommunication. I would be curious to know if this was a verbal conversation between the two ladies or if this was email or text message or what. I'm just not sure, but I don't know how it got to this point of miscommunication, because it's like, okay, did Robin just say $500 and then Kiana was just like, screw you, and that was like end of it? She just didn't say anything at all, or what? But clearly, when it was said, no conversation went forward from there because of this confusion. But it's funny because Kiana in her confessional says she doesn't make any mistake about money, and that's not what was said, but she's gonna let it go. But that's kind of hard for me to believe. As hard as Kiana has been going about this $500 issue with these contracts and how she's not doing business with Robin, it almost makes me wonder if, it really was Kiana who may have misunderstood something, because she doesn't strike me as this being something she was going to be willing to let go. And especially if she feels like Robin's not telling the truth, because she flat out said she doesn't make no mistakes and that's not what happened. So I don't know. Kiana might know somewhere, deep down inside that it's possible she might have made a mistake. But it looks like they've resolved this issue, and hopefully we won't be revisiting it. But if we do, we'll see how that plays out. So following that scene, we are with Tiana, and she's with a seller of hers. He has a condo. It sounds like he put a lot of work into renovating this condo, and he wants to list this condo far above what Tiana feels like it's worth. And you can see she's sort of, having that issue of trying to have that conversation with him, getting him to understand that although he put all this money into that condo, it's just not worth that. And that's funny because a lot of people run into that in real estate. They put all this money into this property, and understandably, they want to recoup the money that they put into the property. But when you start doing renovations, you need to understand that just because you put all this money into this property and put top of the line everything in it, these materials, that if the other properties around you aren't worth that and they aren't selling for that, you are going to have a difficult time selling your property, because it's just not worth that, especially when you're looking at the other comps in the area. So that's a tip. If anybody starts doing renovations, you need to really consider the other properties around you. Don't be doing too much. I mean, you can fix your house up or whatever the case may be, but don't be going overboard with it, because chances are you're going to feel like you lost some money in the end. So I can see what this Tiana looks like. She's basically kind of tabling this discussion. She's trying to appease him because he's not hearing lowering the prices, but I think she said they will revisit it to see, property values start to go up around there. Then he may be, in a better position to sell and get what he put into it, because right now it's not happening. Next, we come to a scene with Kiana, Kira, and Crystal, where they're all, sitting down to discuss what transpired at Robin's dinner. Kiana's basically telling the ladies she sat down with Robin and they discussed the whole contract thing, and they've pretty much reconciled. You should see the look on Crystal's face. Crystal looked like she feels some type of way. Yeah, because that's her bestie, and according to her, they still have not spoken. She claims that Robin has her blocked. She has tried to call Robin several times, but Robin has her blocked. It's also brought to Crystal's attention that, Tiffany expressed how she felt about Crystal continuing to call Robin triggered at that event, and she felt like as her friend, she should not have kept calling her triggered, and she should have, more than anything, tried to remove her from that situation because she could see how upset Robin was getting. And basically Crystal said, mind your business. She don't want to hear nothing Tiffany got to say. Tiffany don't know either one of them. And basically she wants her to mind her business. So, yeah. But I mean, Crystal pretty much said that anyway when she was sitting with her therapist, that she realizes now, in hindsight, that she could have handled that situation differently. I mean, she didn't really realize, she was saying, how upset or bothered Robin was, and how deep Robin's pain really is with her past. So it sounds like she knows a little more now how Robin feels, and hopefully she will take that into consideration before she starts using these certain words with her. So let's talk about Carlos. Carlos, I believe Robin said, is one of her clients. I think maybe one of her best clients. Sounds like she gets a lot of business from him, or at least makes a lot of money with him. They are supposed to meet up at a property. He doesn't show up. He's out of the country, and he sends someone in his place. And the girl that he sends in his place tells Robin that he has given her listing away to someone else. And she's pretty upset about it. She calls him and he's basically like, yeah, I gave it away, so forth and so on. So now she's on this quest to sort of get his business back. So later on, they meet up. Looks like a bar, lounge type of thing. And she's basically, telling him she doesn't appreciate him giving the listing to someone else. And then it's at this time that he drops the bomb on her that the property sold for, I think he said, over $2 million, all cash. But the messed up part about it is, whoever he gave listing to, they didn't do any marketing or advertising for the property. Sounds like the only thing that basically they had for that listing is the video that Robin had made. So she really felt some type of way. And I mean, I don't blame her. You basically use my marketing and advertising to sell this property, but she's not reaping any rewards of that sale. But, Carlos kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know how I feel about Carlos. No, I know how I feel about Carlos. Carlos, he seemed kind of sketchy in one take, but then in the next moment, it's like he's kind of playing this savior position to her. I really want to know the backstory of their relationship. Something about it is weird. I don't really care for their interaction, and honestly, I kind of felt bad for Robin, because up to this point, we've seen Robin be this sort of in your face, you're not going to disrespect me, I'm gonna nip it in the bud right away type of person, shutting you down. And as much as I don't necessarily care for all of that energy from her, I didn't like to see her in the position with Carlos where I feel like it was the opposite. She wasn't what we've seen from her. And I don't know if it's because it's about money and her business or what, but that man told her that she needs to eat shit. And I was just like, really? Like, to me, that was rude. Who tells somebody that? Um, Even if that's how you feel, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Um, and she, I mean, in her confessional, she admitted that that pissed her off. But in front of her, from what we saw, she basically just put a smile on her face. And I didn't like that he came to her like that. Like, he took the listing from her, it sounds like, to um, teach her a lesson, when he gave that listing to someone else. So he does that, but then, she expresses to him, this business idea that she has, that she wants to go into business with these other 5 ladies and build this, real estate firm. And he basically tells her that she doesn't need them. Sounds like he believes in her. He thinks she's great and she could do it on her own, and she's going to be successful. And then when she is, they're going to be coming to her. They're going to work with her. So I don't know. It just kind of feel like he's playing this mind game with her. And like I said, I don't know. I know initially going into it, I felt like their relationship was kind of unprofessional. And I know people are going to disagree with me about, how friendly you should get with people that you're doing business with. But I'm from the frame of mind that we can be cool, we can laugh, we can kiki, but there still needs to be a certain level of professionalism. I feel like it was a little unprofessional, even in the way that she was kind of talking to him in the beginning, and then finally how he ended up talking to her. So, like I said, I'm not sure what their dynamic is overall, what their history is, but I would really be interested to see. I didn't like seeing her in that position because a part of me feels like, had it been a woman that told her to eat shit, even if it was a client, somebody who has all this money that she can benefit from, I almost don't feel like it would have went the same way, which is unfortunate because if I feel like you should have the same energy with a man or a woman. But so far, we've seen her have totally different energy with women, even though the relationships are different. I'll admit that. But how she come to them compared to how she let him slide, I don't know, I didn't care for that. And I just done, and I don't know, I just kind of don't want her to feel like, just because he a man, that she has to have a certain level of respect for him because of that. And that might not be what it is, once again. Maybe it's because, she's doing business with him. He's giving her his properties. Oh, yeah. So finally, at the end of the conversation, he ends up giving her 3 listings and some other business with a few other properties. So it's just weird. I'm guessing we will probably see more of Carlos, hopefully, in this season, since he did give her more business. And maybe we can kind of fill out, what the situation is with the two of them. So following that, she does in her separate confessional says, the other women are of the frame of mind that they all need to be friends in order to do business together. And, I wish Robin would sort of move past that narrative that they don't have to be friends. As much as I understand what she's saying, so although you don't have to be friends, you have to get along enough to do business. And I don't know if Robin is completely understanding that at this point. I feel like in her mind, she feels like we're just going to do business and that's it. There needs to be nothing else. If anybody has ever worked in corporate America or, any job, usually if you have to interact with your coworkers, you still build a relationship and a rapport with these people. And that's what's going to have to happen between these ladies. Let's just be real. Somewhere down the line, they mess around and go into business. And, she's just sort of off on her own, doing her own thing. But the other ladies might be getting together for lunch, have dinner, whatever. You don't want to be the outcast. Nobody wants to feel like the outcast. And usually when you have people who kind of think like that, they do end up being the outcast. And they won't often admit it, but they feel some type of way about being, sort of left out, even though they kind of put themselves in a position because they're stuck on this, we don't need to be friends, this is strictly business. And it sounds good until they're the lone man out doing their own thing and everyone else has a relationship and rapport. So I wish she would just kind of sort of move past that mindset and realize that they're going to have a better relationship than what she's realizing. And it's going to have to be a little more than just strictly business. Crystal and Kira meet up. Crystal brings Kira to her office, gives her lunch. It was a nice lunch. Like, 4 courses, I think it was, lunch. Basically to try to win some of her business. But the only issue here is that Kira strictly uses Tiffany as her closing attorney. So in order for her to give business to Crystal, she's going to have to take some business from Tiffany. And Crystal's sort of presenting this as, you do enough business that you have some to share, which she probably does. But still, Tiffany, is not going to feel like that. And we will see later that she doesn't feel like that. She feels some type of way. I'm kind of torn on this because I can see from Crystal's perspective, you're trying to win more business. But I think the issue here is that herself and Tiffany are the only 2 African American, I believe, closing attorneys in the area. So it's kind of like you're trying to take business from another black woman, and I don't know how I feel about that, because at the end of the day, it is business though, right? But another layer to that is, now this is just one more issue that they're going to have to iron out while they're trying to decide whether they're all going to go into business together. There's already enough issues to go around with the other ladies, but you might as well add this to the list because now Tiffany's going to feel some type of way. Tiffany has her grand opening for her new real estate office. She invites all the ladies with the exception of Crystal. She does not invite Crystal because she basically doesn't want the same issues to transpire that transpired at Robin's dinner. And as we know, Crystal and Robin still have not made up, so she chose to not invite Crystal. So while they're at this grand opening, so she told Tiffany what Crystal was trying to do as far as winning her business and how she, rolled out the red carpet for her with this luncheon. And Tiffany was offended. She felt some type of way. No surprise. Pretty much knew that she would because, essentially how is she supposed to feel? Somebody's trying to take business from her. So I'm sure coming up we will see, once Crystal is around, I'm sure we'll see that play out. Totally interested to see how that goes. So during this grand opening, Robin's sort of trying to get the ladies together to take a picture. Kira don't want to take a picture. Kira is still upset about the conversation they had from Robin's dinner. which I kind of understand where she's coming from because they still never resolved their issue. In the earlier scene between Kiana and Robin, she basically was telling Robin, that she was very dismissive of Kiana's feelings and Kira's feelings, which she was. She quickly went on the defense when, they voiced their concerns with her. And she admitted that she went on the defense. And it's like, I'm always disheartened when I see situations like that where someone feels ganged up on or someone doesn't like what's being said to them. And instead of trying to have a productive conversation in order to move the conversation forward, they will often just sort of go on the defense and be really dismissive or even just talking crazy as their response. It is their emotional response to it. And I feel like that's kind of what Robin did in that situation. I would have really liked to have seen her be the bigger person in response to both Kiana and Kira when they had that dinner. Because, once again, you are the one who's having this dinner. You're trying to go into business with them. So I would have liked to see her to have been able to take the high road and just be the bigger person, set the example. But as we saw last episode, that's not what happened. So Kira's still not fooling with Robin. She don't want to take a picture with Robin. She don't want to take a picture without Robin. No pictures tonight, basically. Kira sort of goes off and, off to do her own thing. I don't know if she went to the bar or something, but she kind of goes off. And we have Kiana and Robin now sitting down having a conversation alone. Kiana is telling Robin how herself, Crystal, and Kira met up the other day. And Crystal is basically telling her that she has not spoken to Robin. And it's interesting because according to Crystal, she's tried to call Robin. Robin has her blocked. In this scene, Robin is saying Crystal has not tried to call her and that she does not have her blocked, which is interesting because, once again, where is the confusion coming from? Somebody's lying, basically. Either you have her blocked or you don't. Or you have called her or you haven't. I don't know what the situation is, but both of them are saying what the other person saying is not true. So then at this point, Robin kind of goes into this thing where she's telling Kiana, how she always has issues with women. Women can never just get over it, and there's always something else to it. They can never just move on from it. But as Kiana noted, she's like, if you're the one that's always having issues with women, that's a huge red flag. And it's probably not them, it's probably you. Which goes all the way back to the beginning of what kind of set all of this off, where Crystal pretty much told Robin the same thing. Like, you are going to have to do some self-reflection, because if you have so many issues with women, you probably need to consider that it starts with you. But this was something that Kiana said, in her confessional. It wasn't said directly to Robin, so I really wish she would have said it to Robin. I don't know, that probably would have went left too. But I do wish she would have said it to Robin, because now it's not just Crystal who's trying to convey this to you. Like, this is something that she really needs to hear. So after that, she goes all into this conversation about how she met Crystal through Crystal's boyfriend, and that's how they became friends. But she really thinks that Crystal only befriended her just to make sure that she wasn't screwing her man. And it's like, wow, really? That's what you think? And once again, even if that's what you think, Why would you say that? So you're basically saying your friendship, you feel like your friendship started with this woman because she's trying to make sure that you're not messing with her man. But if y'all, and even if you think that, if your friendship has evolved past that and you two have built a bond together and you really see her as your best friend, like, why even bring that up? I feel like you're kind of just discounting the friendship that you have had with her after her relationship has ended with her boyfriend. I feel like that was irrelevant and definitely shouldn't have been said about your best friend. I don't like when people get into it and they fall out and then you start saying stuff like that about your so-called friend. Like, that should have never been said to Kiana. You can have a falling out with your friend and not sit here and trash them to somebody else. But it's so crazy because Robin is constantly talking about how messy women are and how they're so disloyal and this and that. Robin's sitting here being the exact person that she's accusing women in general of being. She is that person. She doesn't see it though, at all. She is the person that she's accusing women of. Like, you are no better than what you think other women are. And it's sad that she doesn't see that. Like Crystal, yeah, Crystal was wrong in how she handled some of the situations with Robin, but Robin did wrong. Yeah, I don't know, and I'll be curious to see if Kiana tells Crystal because I'm sure this won't end well. But I don't know. I just feel like Robin really needs to heal from her hurt and her issues from her past with women so that she can move on and have productive relationships with women and stop seeing women as the enemy that I feel like she sees them as. Because I feel like she sees women as the enemy. And I really think she feels like that she's above most women, that she feels like she's mature, more mature than most women. That she feels like women are catty and messy and this and that, and she's above that, and she's mature. But unfortunately, the way it's playing out for us, that you are not. You are exactly the person that you despise in other women. I don't know. She got some growing to do. But I'll be curious to see how this plays out in the next episodes. But that's it for today's review of episode 4 of The Ladies Who Live Still In.